Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Millie Automotive and today I'm showing you the home I've been living in for the last week and I have absolutely fallen in love with this thing. So what is it? This is the Volkswagen California T6.1 and that is a bit of a mouthful. So it's top of the line and it's the latest California. Now there is one coming out very soon, so I'm really glad I had the opportunity to try this one out so I can test the later one at a later date. So let's go and I'll show you my crib. So from the front, looks wise, you might just think this is a normal van, apart from the subtle California branding here. But for me, for you, you probably know what it is. And this is a very, very cool camper. Now it's very expensive. This on the road cost is £80,000. So today I'm going to put it to the test and see, is this camper really worth the huge price tag? So front wise, visually, it looks like a van. It looks like a van. So this is candy white with ascot grey, and I really like the ascot grey and I like the sort of contrasting colours. However, I've seen some really bright colours that I love and I think a lot of people wrap them because there aren't that many fun colour choices. So I'm hoping with the next one they bring out some cool colours because it's fun, isn't it? It's a camper. So we've seen a lot of these things on the road and we've been looking at all of them, and it's funny because some people go all out with the colours and other people want it a bit more subtle, a bit more refined. They may be using this as a daily driver and you can totally see why. So let's go have a look inside. Okay, so onto the interior. I like the interior, but I just feel like it's a little bit dull. I wish that they'd do some quirky colours in here. You can get the option of having leather seats, which would be quite nice because we have found that these stain very easily with watermarks and things. Like it's slightly annoying, so you would need covers on these if you're using it for sort of long journeys. Now it's got everything you need in here. It's got quite a lot of storage. You've got Apple CarPlay. It almost feels like infotainment screen wise, it's a mixture of obviously Mark 7.5 Golf with the Mark 8 steering wheel, and I really like that because the Mark 7.5 sort of infotainment is my favourite. It just works so well. It's got the touchscreen elements and it hasn't really had any glitches or anything, so it's just worked really well this week. So this has been my home for the last week and I've really come to enjoy it. So what do we talk about first? We've got these seats here which turn into the bed, and we have been sleeping in this bed more. So we also have a bed up top which will open the roof in a minute. But this bed down here, for us, we've been able to have the auxiliary heating on when we've been plugged into the electric all night, and it just sips on a little bit of diesel, and it's just kept us so nice and toasty in these cold summer days where it should be lovely and warm. So let's take a long stroll to the kitchen. Okay, we have a large fridge which has been so useful because it runs on its own battery. So the fridge basically doesn't need electric, it will just run all the time. Now I will say we've had it's level 1 to 5. Level 5 froze the food, it was that cold. But we did do a mistake because we bought some beef burgers and didn't have them till day 4. So every time we opened the fridge, it was very stinky when you were lying down. Here we have 2 hobs, which are really useful. Now, I will say, you've got the windows here that open, you have to have the windows open, and it also doesn't feel very safe when you've got the bed lying flat to have this on, obviously, because you're very close to the bedding. That's worked very well. We haven't actually cooked like the burgers and things in here because we've got a George Foreman that we plugged in and put outside under the awning because it just feels like you'd ruin it if you had some really stinky sort of food. So we just done pasta and boiled the kettle, and it's been super practical for that. Now, will I say, do I need this? I don't know. I think it completely depends on what you're looking for. But for us, I think I'd rather have a bigger bed and then maybe a fridge and be able to have an awning outside and cook under there. Now that is available. A bigger bed is available in the beach edition, so that'll be interesting to try out as well because it's nice that you've got different options with these. We also have a sink, but because I've reclined the seat back, you won't be able to open it, so I better go and recline the seat. But actually, while we're here, I think I'll show you how you can swivel around the front seats. So this seat is a lot easier to turn all the way around, This seat is a bit harder because you've got the steering wheel and you've also got the handbrake. So you have to be really careful that you're not on a massive slope. Obviously you put it into park, but taking the handbrake off, obviously you just need to be careful with that. So let's put this up here. I hope this goes smoothly. I have done this a lot this week. Right, I'm going to do it a bit more. I always push it back a little bit more because I don't want it to scratch on the sides. Okay, so move on to the front. You need to pull it forward, and then there's a little sort of lever that you switch, and then you simply spin it around and then just put it back to however you want it to be. So really easy. And then you've got sort of storage here that you can, we've been putting our bags and stuff at night. It is a very small space. So by the end of the week, we had a sort of rhythm with our stuff and our clothes. There's so much space in the boot, and I'll show you that now. So here is the rear, and we didn't actually ask from the pest team for it to come with this cycle rack. And it's been good to sort of test it out. We haven't put bikes on it purely because I don't think I'd be able to lift up the boot with the bikes on it, and I didn't want to keep taking it on and off. I will say this makes it a slightly less practical because obviously the parking sensors are registered here, but they're not taking into account this bit that comes out, so you just have to be extra careful. Now, what I will say is I really wish this had an automated tailgate because it's so heavy, and I know you probably can't because it's so heavy. The battery for a motor to lift that up would be insane, and it'd probably be way too expensive and drain everything. It's heavy because of the bike rack, but we also have seats here, which is so handy, and it's actually really easy to just take them out because I didn't unclip it. So you unzip it, and then there's a little clip which I always forget about, and then you literally just take this out, and there you go, a little chair. Nice. I do love that they've really thought of everything with the storage, and I'll go around and show you where the table is as well. You just have to sort of remember, is this the right one? My cameraman is hemming at me because it is the wrong way around. See, once you sort of get it the right way around, it works very well. You've also got a bit of shelter here as well. Okay, so let's talk about the boot because there is so much space here. We had the extra mattress that it came with, and that is an optional extra. Now, I will say you definitely need this, although we did have a mattress topper from home and we found it more comfortable with that, but I don't think I could sleep for a week just on this because it is very hard. Now, up the top, when we open the roof, it's a lot more comfortable out there because they've got sort of springs for the mattress. Now, we had so much space underneath, but we opted for sort of IKEA style bags so we could just sort of squash them in, and it worked really well. This is the net for the pop-up so that if you've got any children or people sleeping up there, you basically don't fall out, which is good. We've got the sort of grey effect as well that continues throughout, and I just wish there was a little bit more colour. So this is the cupboard, and it opens like this, and there's a bigger cupboard at the back. Now, I will say we didn't actually put much on here just because it's a bit wobbly. It's not very well made, really. So I think you wouldn't really need that on. I think you could put some stuff in there quite easily. And I'd be worried about stuff falling out, to be honest, as well. So the gas canister is underneath, so it's quite easily accessible. But yeah, the rear, if you wanted to, you could put it back even further. And someone we were speaking to on a campsite, they had 2 children with them, and they'd pushed theirs all the way forward so that they could then bring a tent with them and all the stuff. So there's so much space in here, and the fact that you can move the seats back and forward, which I'll show you now, is just super practical. They have basically thought of everything with this. Let's put the bed out now. So we've also got practicality, a drawer here. Now this has got everything that sort of comes with the car. So you've got your electric cable, you've got your stuff for your awning, you've got the fly nets for these windows at the back that sort of open, and it's really good. I mean, it does take a bit of adjusting just with the stuff that comes from Volkswagen, but it's handy that everything is quite easily accessible. Now, I will say this seat took me a while to realise how to actually use it because I was pulling it like this, but you have to really pull it, and it is heavy. And it sort of stops there. So once this is clicked into place, you then put the headrest down, So once you put the headrest down, there's a lever here that you pull and you basically push it like that. And here you have the bed. Now you need to sort of move this forward, then you put the mattress down. So once you move this down and have the mattress on top, it's quite comfortable and you've still got a little bit of room here to walk around. So now we have the bed down, we've realised it's actually daytime. So we'd like it as a day bed. Just like that, if you come round this way, you can see, you can then sort of recline on it like it's a day bed. So it's time to open the pop-up roof, and this is automated, and I think that makes a whole world of difference. Now you wouldn't get that in the beach. So you press open, and you have to have the door open or a window at all time because otherwise it comes too pressurised in here. So it then gives you a warning after you press it, and it basically says, can you make sure there's nothing obstructing the roof, and there isn't. So we're safe to proceed. So we're putting open and we're going. Pop-up roof is open, that's okay. We're okay with that. Please check available roof above the pop-up. And then we press it again, and you have to hold it the whole time. And I think that's quite a nice sort of safety feature, because if you do need to stop at any point, you just take it off and it instantly stops for you and then continues on. La la la. Up it goes. Now clearly you can't drive with this when it's up, as that's a bit of a safety feature. But you just turn the car off and there you go, you've got the pop-up roof. So let's check out the space in here now we have this open. The pop-up roof is made out of a really nice material, very sturdy, and there's plenty of ventilation. My only negative is this vent doesn't shut, and it really did have a draft right where your head is at night, and it did get very cold. You get lighting up here and also a 12-volt socket, which is very handy for charging devices. So much space with the pop-up roof up that you can literally stand there. My other half's 6 foot and he was comfortable. Hello! So I've loved having this open, and we were near a steam railway and that was quite fun. It only came by a few times, but we could literally see it cold. It's a lot colder up here than it is down there because the heat doesn't really get to it. But plenty of room, very comfortable with the springs, and I love it all around. The only thing is, it's quite hard to actually climb up, and I think some people would find that quite difficult because in photos it shows the passenger seat being turned around and then you sort of use it to climb up. Now, if you have both seats turned around, it's quite hard to get yourself up, and I find it, I'm 5'9", 25, quite physically strong you could say, and I find it quite hard to get up there. So you'd have to take that into consideration if you're buying one of these. You may not even need the roof, you can literally pull it up, and then it just gives you so much more space and you can stand up, so maybe you just use it for that. Right, so let's talk about levelling, because we did have to do this at quite a lot of different sites. Now this site specifically was 4.6 and we could really feel it when we were sleeping. Now the second site, we put it on 2 of the blocks and it made such a difference. As you can see, we're on 0.9 and 2.8 and this felt a lot better, but you can definitely feel it when it's slanted. Onto the awning, because this is something that we really used a lot. Now, apparently a lot of people don't tend to use the awning supports, but we really felt like we needed to, especially with the wind. This thing was not going anywhere. We put it at a slight angle so that the water could then rush off it if it rained a lot. It was also quite simple to put up, but I would say you'll probably need 2 people to make it that slight bit easier. The electric hookup and the water was also very easily accessible and easy and simple to use. So onto the all-important drive, because let's be honest, the majority of the time you'll be driving along with sleeping. So I've been pleasantly surprised with the drive of this car. It's like a refined van. I do feel very high up. The seating position's really nice, but it has a bit of poke to it. That diesel torque, it can get you up hills and it can get you out of sort of sticky situations. I will say this is the 2-wheel drive, and I would definitely recommend the 4-wheel drive if it's the possibility, purely because we have got stuck a few times and wheel spun out of places, and I just think it'd be so much more practical if you were on grass pitches and things to be able to get out of them really. it's always that peace of mind, isn't it? So let's talk about miles per gallon, because that's also a very important factor. So we went to Devon, and going around all the country lanes, we got about, I'd say 30 miles per gallon. The lowest we got was 30 miles per gallon. The highest we got was 38.8, which was on the way back on the motorway. So overall, for a sort of over 3-ton vehicle, brilliant miles per gallon. I'm really impressed with it. This whole experience this week has been so pleasant. I'm really converted, and I actually want one myself. I would love one of these. They're so cool. Now, they are big, so it's 1.99 meters in height. And the thing is with this, if it's expensive, but it's the practicality of it really, because you could go and spend 80 grand on a massive motorhome. However, you'd then have to probably tow a car or a motorcycle with you. And with this, we've been able to get into most car parks, and we've been going on ferries, and we've literally just paid the small vehicle car payment for it. So it's that sort of thing. We can get into most car parks. It's 2.3 meters wide. I've got them up here, which is why I keep looking at it. And it's not too wide, it's not too big. I'd definitely say it's on the cusp of being too big. We used to go down to Devon in our Land Rover 110, and that I'd say is the perfect thing for country roads, because it's so tall and narrow. But obviously you're sleeping in this, and normally they're used as a van, aren't they, the transporters, so they need to be big enough. But practicality, 10 out of 10. I couldn't fault the driving in this, apart from the slight wheel spin that we get when we pull off. Other than that, absolutely perfect. Love it. Right, so final thoughts on my home for the last week. What do I actually think of this? So overall, I absolutely love it. Only downside for me is obviously it's very expensive, and I wish there were more colour options. Overall, it's been fantastic. It's been warm, it's been comfortable, and I've really enjoyed it. And there's also a fantastic community with these, that you meet so many lovely people. There's so many different varieties of these. Obviously, this is the one that comes standard. This is the most expensive. It's the king of them all, as you could say. If you were to buy one from Volkswagen, you get things like the aircon that's put in already, and you also get the blinds, which are integrated. Now these are from factory, so you wouldn't get anything like that if you did a conversion. Now there's pros and cons to both. Conversion, you can definitely make it more your own. This comes as it is, and you've sort of got to deal with it. You can't change it that much. You also get double glazing in the back and a heated windscreen in this one. So there's so many luxuries. Home away from home, this is what it is, and it's super fun to drive. I'm really excited to find out what the next one's going to look like. Can it actually top this? Because this is incredible, and they've thought of everything with it. I can't really say anything negative about it, to be honest, apart from the cupboards are a bit iffy. I love it. It's fantastic to drive, and it's just the price tag I can't get over, because it is so expensive. And I'm thinking you could get so many different cars for 80 grand. Comment down below, let me know what you think. Would you rather spend the money on one of these if you had it, or get a conversion? Either way, let me know in the comments, and remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye.